Hello, welcome to an R Reacts Friday Funny. Something hopefully to start your weekend off with a giggle.
I'm so grateful for you all to come tonight. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to leave you on a story. Me and my fella don't really get nights off together very often, so when we do, we try to make the most of it. And went out, and we call them like a date night. Went out on a date night recently, had a curry, lovely curry, got in, put a DVD on, everything going really well. Halfway through the film started to get a little bit amorous, a little bit frisky, which I suppose is one of the points of the date night. Seemingly, we'd forgotten that 2 hours before that, we'd had a curry. Nevertheless, he went downstairs. I don't mean for a glass of water. I already told you I live in a flat. Fucking work it out. The only reason
I've never had curry. Is that an issue?
That should never be a euphemism for that. Do you fancy doing the bins later on? It doesn't work, does it? No. So he went, no, Hayes. Do you know I do like that as well, like in that little stupid voice? No, Hayes. That's not how I ask him for it, by the way. No, Hayes. You will, no, Hayes, later on. Will it do the bin?
Sounds like a speech
So
impediment.
he was, no, Hayes. And there's no nice way of saying this to you lovely people, but I could feel a fart brewing.
Oh no.
Nobody knows what to do they? There's no plan of action for this.
That's
So
not
what I
good.
did, and I don't really know I did this, certainly don't know why I'm telling you lot. Similar to in the film Rain Man, I started going, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And he carried on. Because as he told me afterwards, he thought I was doing an impression of Beyonce.
Beyonce. She has that
But we've clearly not got
song.
the hang of the whole seduction thing. I think that's fairly evident from what I've told you so far, isn't it? But I walked in on him the other day and he was lying on the bed just in his pants, because you know how men think that's attractive. And he had one bollock hanging out.
Oh no.
And I thought, I'm going to have to pull him on it. Question him on it. Not pull him on it.
Okay.
If only they made that noise. If they made that noise, I'd never leave the little buggers alone. I said, do you know that you've got a bollock hanging out? He said, yes, I do. I put it out especially for you.
She thinks. Why?
But like I said, I've been with my fella for 6 years. It's going really well. He bought himself a suit recently. I don't think I've ever seen him in a suit. I quite fancied him in his suit. And I told him, I said, quite fancy you in your suit. And he said, and I quote, it's very smooth, he said, if you like, I'll leave it on and sort you out all good and proper, all posh and that. I said, you forgot to say Miss Moneypenny on the end. But the only time we ever argue is when it comes to Christmas, birthdays, present giving times, that sort of thing, because he really likes to buy me surprises, and I really hate surprises. We've got a bit of a happy medium now, though, the last couple of years, where I give him a list of pre-approved surprises. 5 or 6 things. He can pick whichever one he likes. I don't know which one it's going to be, so it's still technically a surprise. He came home a few days before my birthday last year, and he said, never guess what I've just done. I said, what have you just done? He said, I've gone off list.
Oh no.
He said, I'm not even sure if you're going to like it. I said, why the fuck did you buy it then? I mean, thank you. But a friend of mine who doesn't really know us very well, she said, oh, that sounds like an engagement ring to me. I said, no, it sounds like kaplunk. But we have quite busy lives, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. And when we go on holiday, we like to go somewhere relaxing, somewhere where we can look at nice scenery and read books. That's all we really want to do. My boyfriend doesn't like to fly, so we tend to stay within the UK. And because we don't have to pay for expensive flights, we sometimes treat ourselves to a slightly posher hotel. The last posh hotel we stayed in had 2 baths either side of each other. And I thought, oh, we're going to be able to have really romantic baths together without having to stare at hairy toes. That man puts up with an awful lot with me.
She has hairy toes.
To be fair, his feet aren't any better. They're not horrific, they're just, you know...
Feet.
Feet. Nails are a bit long, toes are a bit hairy. There's crusty bits on the bottoms, you know, this sort of thing.
Oh.
So you look like you could pick up mice with those. They've got a certain sort of owl-like quality to them.
All right.
But you know, we don't live together. We have a few days a week together and a few days a week apart. And when we're apart and I get to sleep in my own bed on my own, I fucking love it. Starfish! I love it. So we all have our partners, but when you're trying to get to sleep, they all do niggly things, don't they? Like breathing.
That's the snoring, that's
together.
the problem.
Is there anything about each other when you're trying to get to sleep that's irritating? He snores, does he snore? Gives a chill to people who think that they're a snorer? Well, the people who know they're sitting beside a snorer?
Yes.
There's a bit of denial in the room tonight. My boyfriend snores, and I found out recently that my dad also snores, because I was whinging to my mum about my boyfriend snoring, and she said, have you tried these? And then slid something across the kitchen bench like it was drugs. Try these. And what they were those nasal strips.
Those
I don't know if
nose
you've seen them, the little strips that go across the bridge of the snorer's nose so that they open the nostrils out so that they can breathe more clearly, and in theory they don't snore anymore. Now, they worked for us for a while until it came to Christmas. Now, something you need to know about me is that I really love Brussels sprouts.
My dad liked Brussels sprouts.
My boyfriend doesn't like Brussels sprouts. So Christmas, we get a big bag of Brussels sprouts, and I eat the lot. And I don't mind telling you, I'm pretty fucking toxic.
Is it like asparagus?
So just before we went to bed on
Makes
Christmas
a smell.
night, my boyfriend went, do you mind if I don't put the strip on tonight? I don't mean us to be any bigger than they have to be.
Oh my goodness.
Another thing he does, he puts his arm across us, and I quite like that, because I feel quite sort of safe and protected, I suppose. But then sometimes he puts his leg across, and I think, oh, now you're taking the fucking piss. The last time I did it, he put his foot, remember, I described it not that long ago. He put his foot on my leg, and he rubbed it up and down. And I went,
Ow.
what are you doing? And he went, I'm being tender. I said, no, love, you're exfoliating.
Like a cheese grater.
But when I lived alone, I really liked it. I really liked living alone. But one of the things I love about living with somebody else again is I like the unpredictability of it. I like that every now and again a sentence will come out that I would never have said. The most recent one, out of nowhere, he just went, your shed's no good to have a wank in.
What?
And I said, that's because it's a greenhouse, love. But I told you I live on my own. My boyfriend also lives on his own. I think some people think that's quite odd that we've been together a few years and we don't live together. But we sort of feel like we've got the best of both worlds because we have a few days a week together and a few days a week apart. And it's sort of ideal. There was a time that he moved in with me for 3 months because he was between flats and it made sense. And I was fine with it because there was an end date. I'm a bit stuck in my ways. I love you, but bye. And while he was at mine, for those 3 months, I worked away for a week. And when I came back, some things had changed in my flat. And I said, love, one of the towels smells of bums.
Oh, why?
You got any idea what that might be? Without even thinking, he just went, that'll be me bum towel.
Excuse me? The hell's a bum towel?
So when he did eventually move out as a housewarming present, I brought him a small brown hand towel. It's good because it's brown. He doesn't have to wash it. He can just crack it and use it again.
Ew. That's disgusting.
Oh. But his mum came out his flat. His mum's lovely. She came out his flat and she said, got you a new duvet set. He said, I don't need a new duvet set. She said, you've got one that you just wash and put back on. This way you'll have a change. And he said, that's lovely. Thank you very much. So she went to put it on, and it was lovely. It was all patterned, sort of matching. It was really nice. It was a little bit flowery for him, just a little bit flowery for him. And he went in to have a look, and he didn't want to hurt her feelings. He came back out, and he went, she's made me bed gay. I said, no, love, just because it hasn't got spunk in dinner, and it doesn't make it gay.
Ew.
Clean, that's the word you're looking for. It's clean. And his mum had overheard, and she came in and she said, "It's not a gay bed. If it was a gay bed, there'd be shackles."
Oh, really?
What DVDs has she been fucking watching?
Not sure
But he's
that's
a
just
lovely man. He's
exclusive to
lovely.
gay.
We were in bed the other day and he got quite animated. And he shouted out, "Feel how hard that is." And I thought, you bugger, it's Tuesday. We didn't have this booked in. Turns out he's talking about the skin on his feet.
Oh, lovely.
I thought about taking him to one of those places. You know those places that are popping up all over the place where it's got a tank with the fish in and you put your feet and the fish nibble at the hard skin. You know those places? And I thought about taking him to one of those and I thought, I can't do that. The poor little fish, they'll think he's got fucking shoes on. Just going to take him to a blacksmith instead.
Those fish?
But he's lovely. He's the nicest person I've ever met. He's a genuinely good man. And in January this year, I said to him, "You know what? I think it's about time we started talking about the future." And that's what I expected from him, like an awkward silence. Maybe some footsteps as he walked the fuck out of me life. But he didn't. He just smiled. Just really like a beam and grin. And I was really touched. And I thought, oh my God, he wants to spend his future with me. Yay. And I said, "Are you sure you're all right talking about the future?" And he went, "What, like flying cars and that?"
Oh my goodness. Really? All right. Well, there's some funny laughs for you to start your weekend from Sarah Millican. I've seen a few of her things come across my Facebook page, so I figured I'd check her out. Seems to be worth it. I'll probably watch a few more of hers and have a good weekend. Remember to hit like and subscribe.